Nope, just stay where you're at.
Oh, okay. So it says we are streaming live on Facebook.
Wow, done. It's not quite there on my end. All right, now we are live. Okay, hi everyone. It's Rachel Gerlach with Nutrition Works. I'm the owner and founder, and we provide functional health, cutting edge laboratory testing, life coaching, and mindset psychology. And we are so excited because we're talking with Coach Radhika, which is a treat. It is seriously a treat. She is so profound in her work in working with high level professional women. And I think everybody needs to hear this story. We're going to specifically talk today about the patriarchy stress disorder. I know it sounds like super big and scary, but I promise you it's not, but it's a real thing. So first and foremost, Radhika, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Rachel, for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome.
Well, so I work with, as Rachel introduced briefly, I work with busy professional women. Most of them are professionals. Some of them are professionals transitioning into entrepreneurship, more so this year. And I work with them, to upgrade their health and life so that they live a life of freedom and clarity. Really like living their life to the fullest potential. Yes, and so as Rachel mentioned, we were gonna be just sharing what are most of our women clients going through right now and what we are helping them overcome.
Yeah.
Right.
So I know for me, what I have been hearing, of course, I think not everybody, but most women can relate to this right now, is life has changed significantly with COVID, whether that's women having to leave their jobs to stay home with their kids, or they are the breadwinner, and so they have to continue to hold their job and play the role of mother, potentially even being at their home, of really how do we do it all, right? You're homeschooling. You may not have the help coming into your home that you normally would in the past. So everybody's trying to do it all. And this is starting to compound, at least for my clients, even more so than pre-COVID. Right? Pre-COVID, it was already a real thing. And now we're stacking on a whole new set of conditions that women are trying to navigate in their home. And the overwhelming responses I hear almost every day is, I am so overwhelmed, I feel like I'm drowning. Like that is the verbiage that I hear. What are you hearing from your clients?
Yeah, it's all of that, and just that need. A lot of us, me included, we have this mindset that we can do it all.
Oh yeah.
And that is like what you were referring to, the patriarchy stress disorder. This lady, Dr. Valerie, she's written this book and she defines it. And she says that it's the invisible inner barrier to women's happiness and fulfillment, where it's interesting to draw those parallels because, like you said, most of my clients also, more so now with the pandemic, they have this need of being, like we can do it all, and really like that tendency of that perfectionist attitude, and so being everywhere. But then what is that doing to them at the cellular level, at their health level? It's depleting them. They don't really have enough time, and it's like a power. She refers to it as well as a power outage. That there's a constant depletion happening where they don't even realize that, right? And then they drown themselves in work. They drown themselves in self-help books. They drown themselves in maybe meditation and yoga, but really not realizing what is the root cause. And we are all about root cause. And so we love, yes, we begin with nutrition and, functional testing and all those things. And we handhold them through that process. How is their energy production, their hormone imbalance and things like that. Gut health is pivotal, but really, like, why is it happening in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. What's it, right? Really going, root cause is one thing. When you look at, I always say, we're going to look at your organ systems. We're going to look at your chemistry within your body, because when we can get that equalized and leveled, it does make the journey, or the process of transitioning your whole, not your whole life, but transitioning life and calibrating easier. But we have to go, what is the catalyst? Like, you got to go all the way upstream to figure out what was the first trigger, right, to then affect your hormonal disruption or your metabolic disruption or your gut health. And I think that's what you're saying is, like, if we really go to the root cause, it's how much stress do we stack on over and over and over and over again. And I
Right.
love that you said it's like a power outage, right? Because I feel like that's kind of what happens to your body, where it's like, done, we're had enough, we're going to just, kind of down regulate this thyroid, or we're going to hang on to these hormones over here. I love that analogy. That's such a beautiful way to frame it that I think everybody can understand.
Right, because sometimes we can go through that whole process, we'll do the testing and we really like connect the dots, but then if we don't really realize where it's coming from, that pattern can emerge again and again and again, right?
Right.
And
Right.
sometimes it's like built, like, and that's where she defines the patriarchal stress disorder, that we don't have to feel bad about it. And we really operate in a like no judgment zone, because we ourselves are work in progress and we are working through these patterns ourselves. And it's something that's built in our, like through ancestral, and collective trauma, like intergenerational, and it's just, and of course now we are ready to bust that. We are ready to bust the patriarchy, because women have like this constant need. In fact, she quotes a statistic which I loved, and it was illuminating, that 90% of women, like, and these are all like high performing professional women, the kind of women that we work with, that most of them, 90% of them, their energy and time is being spent locked in internal battles. So their internal stories. I want to do this, I want to do that, I can be everywhere. And then that builds on the overwhelm. Or, especially when they have kids, and like you said, during the pandemic, watching the homeschooling, and then also being ambitious and, overperforming, overachieving at work, and then managing house chores and everything. And it just sort of, they build these prison guards, which then it's so internalized that it's just a way of keeping us safe. And it comes in the way of them stepping into their power. And then what happens? It affects their organ systems, right? It affects their detoxification pathways, their hormones, their sleep, because they're not able to switch off. And then that has a cascading, like in the night, maybe in the, or even just being present in the moment and really enjoying like what is going on. What is this life telling me to do? And then, and then creating from that mode, which is then very effortless. So it's all about like building cognitive resilience, from a place of flow, from a place of joy, from a place of pleasure. So it doesn't feel like overwhelming. It doesn't feel like,
it doesn't feel like another thing that they have to work on, like hard, it's not hard. It becomes, as you say, the flow, it becomes more authentic. And that's an overused word, but really it's like, really, what do you need? Understanding what you need. And I think, you if you haven't read the book, what Radhika was talking about in the beginning, when she mentioned that it's passed down generational, when I was reading the book, and in the very beginning, she cites studies, I think it was on mice, of certain, it was a while ago. What was it? They had, was it like a taste or a poison? Essentially, the mouse was exposed to something. I think it was a poison. And then that mother mouse went on to have her children. So, right. And then those mice, even though they had not ever experienced that taste or that flavor, but that smell alone, they knew it because it was in their genetic DNA that was bad. And so they avoided that compound. And I was thought, oh my God, think about this, like no pressure, but
Mm-hmm.
right. But think about what we are passing on generationally.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we look at who we are now, and if we look back, like our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers, we are the byproduct. So it almost, again, no pressure, but it almost does feel like it is our responsibility to start to make this change in the advocation of, we don't have to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't have to have these mindsets and these belief systems, because belief systems are just a choice of our thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
but they are within us. And so then how do we override that genetic predispositioning to create and make change down the road for our future generations? Whoa.
And
that's why I said
I've
it. I was
seen
like,
those patterns in myself as well, right? It's like this constant need to juggle, like having more than one window open, taking no breaks, like just going from one meeting to the other, not really, having that space to transition sometimes, just going.
oh
It's
my God, yes.
it's and it's like they're almost like, and I've seen myself, I do that when I'm just trying to numb myself from what is, and
Yes.
then we feel, oh, we are productive, so we're doing it all, but it's really, and when I coach clients, it's really, everything is about, because they're already busy, we don't have time. And when we are, just a good segue from this topic is, how do we get the maximum results by being most efficient, right? So whether it's in terms of nutrition, whether it's in terms of your sleep habits, it's in terms of movement, everything is about keeping it really efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So you have, less time in, but you have the most impactful outcome. So you do have time to really self-regulate your nervous system and, pause and really like take the breaks that you have to, and not feel like you have to do it all still.
Yeah. I don't know what it feels like for you or for any other woman that's out there listening, but I experienced this last Monday where I was, I work from home now, just like majority of us, just like you, right? My kids they were not able to return to school. So they're home all day long and I'm like separated by a door and I'm trying to run two businesses and then run out there and make sure that they're on their Moodle and like that's the application we use. Anyway, the whole day went on. And by the time 3 o'clock came around, I was like, we need to go outside. Like we need to go get some fresh air and some sunshine. But my brain, I talk about power outage. Like I felt like my brain was short circuiting internally, and everything that they were saying, they just wanted to connect with me and talk to me. And we're walking and they're talking, and they don't, I don't know about your daughter, but the two of them talk over each other. So I'm like one ear and then this ear, and I'm like, oh my God. And I truly felt like my brain was exploding on the inside because I had not scheduled any breaks. I did not schedule, right? We're nutritionists. And I tell people this all the time. I didn't schedule my lunch. I wasn't drinking enough water. I hadn't structured my day. I was trying to do it all instead of being like calling my mom, be like, hey, can you come over and help? Or my partner. Like we're trying to, like, we've got it. But then talk about like living and being in the moment. The entire walk, my brain was exploding and I wasn't even able to be with them. And I felt like all I wanted to do was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I did. I went home and I vacuumed because that's my way of shutting down. Everybody's got a coping mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
and mine is vacuuming. Nobody can
Right.
talk to me. Nobody can hear me. So this is interesting. Like, so how do you, when you work with clients, because you specialize in, right? You work with executive level, professional women, usually mothers, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Who are trying to do it all and are imploding, whether they know it or not, and their health is deteriorating, right? And everything is that is leaking into all facets of their life. Like, what are some of the things that you do with these women to help walk them through slowing down and, I don't want to say recreating their life, but shifting in order to have more flow and in order to have more greater health, better sleep, better metabolisms, nervous systems, all the things that we work with.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think what's beautiful also is that we go through it, like you mentioned, we both go through it ourselves.
Totally.
And so we can relate and we welcome all kinds of experiences. So giving them really a safe place to share and, holding space for them is the first place, because if they are not authentic and they're not feeling safe, really, then our work really doesn't bring any merit to them. So really beginning from that place is what I always strive to do. And then helping them realize that how essential it is to start their day from a place where they have at least, if not 10 minutes, at least like 15-20 minutes. I mean, minimum 10 minutes for themselves before they just hit the alarm, look at their mails, and start going.
Yes.
So that sounds extremely trivial, but that small exercise itself has had, it has amplified and has had the magnitude of the benefit it has had on clients is just, I just don't have words to express, like just starting your day. Yes, we do begin with nutrition. We do begin with functional testing, really figuring out what is going on. Why are you having these gut symptoms? But unless we start focusing on ourselves, like just getting in touch, like that embodiment feeling with our body, like what is it that you need today in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
And that can look like different every day. So I think that is where I always like to begin. The methodology, there is a framework and methodology which has all these components of, like we mentioned, nutrition, sleep, energy production, stress and resilience, and cognitive health and things like that. But there are these simple habits that you can break into starting your day and how you end your day. So like really having that window of time for yourself in the morning and in the night to recalibrate for the next day and the next. And then within that, based on what's going on with the individual and how much bandwidth they have, we really have like a individualized toolbox for them. So these are some of the things you can do, whether it's in terms of food, whether it's in terms of, the kind of water you're having, whether it's in terms of what is it that you open your eyes and look at the first thing, so it's just like these small practices. And then the same at night, like what are the supplements you can have? What is the food that you can have that will optimize your sleep better? And, tracking your deep sleep so that you have that rejuvenation and restored feeling in the morning. So I think that's always the basis, the foundational pieces when we begin to work. And then the rest is more, again, customized based on their health history and their lifestyle and the environment. There are any toxins that are depleting them further and things like that.
Right.
But also like really letting them know that, this is a very common pattern in all our women clients. To feel
you're not alone.
Mm-mm.
Right? You're not alone out there. Like, yes. And I think that is something that's so important, is when we do feel like we're on the island, that we have to remember that we are with our clients, right? We are all in this together.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we don't talk about it. We don't connect with other women to talk about, like, are you feeling like this? And are you experiencing this? Or even reaching out for help. But we just keep going and going and going and going and going until we're at the breaking point. And unfortunately, until something does break.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, it's usually like sleep, hormones, or weight.
Right.
That's the trigger that will propel some action.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You said it. Because a lot of times people will be like, I don't have any symptoms, so I'm in good health. But like you said, if you're feeling fatigued, if your sleep is off, those two are itself enough information that your body, there's something that's amiss, and we are proactive about that approach. And so let's look at these two patterns, why you're not sleeping well, before it shows up in gut or liver or anything else.
Right. And I think you said something too that I think for at least a lot of women that I work with is, you said, getting them to understand what they need, to learn what they need. And I know that sometimes when I present that to my clients, it's a blank stare because we've not spent enough time with ourselves alone in our own head to even know what we need. Right. So many times that like I have clients that are with me and they're like, Rachel, I don't even know. I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what I like anymore. It's because I think you're spot on, right? It's like the most basic tool that we can offer is to spend some alone time with yourself. And that just for me in the morning, it's before I jump out of bed, I wake up, but then I'm like, don't jump out of bed. Don't check my, what's on my calendar for day and what's the news. I don't do any of that. I lay in bed and I'm just like, I spend some time in my head, and then it's practicing, and it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's like slowly getting to know yourself to even be able to say, oh my God, I guess I really don't like going to this restaurant, but we always go to this restaurant because it's what the kids like, or it's what my husband likes. And it's like, well, you don't even like that. You don't even know it because we didn't even, I mean, it's something that's so basic,
Right.
but it is so profound. Quiet time with yourself, which can be kind of scary too for some, I think for some women, like that doesn't feel productive, like nothing's getting done.
Yes, I'm glad you said that, because a lot of my clients, I'm sure yours as well, like they have this guilt, which is again that prison guard, right? Oh, how can I be doing this when I have to be with my kid or my husband? Like, really not living their life from what they need and keeping that as an anchor first, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah, so I love that book. You have it, Patriarchy. Where's my other one? Where did it go? Okay, show everybody. All right, sorry. So that's the one that we recommend that high performing, stressed out, overwhelmed women read. And then the one that I love to use for my clients is, and I talk about this, is the Fair Play with Eve Wadsky. And I'm trying to actually do an interview with her at the beginning of the year. She's writing her second book. And I love this one because it creates visibility to all the things that are needed to be done within a household. And it's not just the visibles, so Eve talks about there's the visibles and there's the invisibles, right? So think about all the things that you do that aren't overtly visible, like laundry, but you're thinking about, okay, the kids are on break on this day, and so I have to line up daycare on this, and then all like the so-and-so's birthday party, and how we organize the drive-by birthday party, and where right? Those are the things that stack, and like you said, there's so much in our head that I think is creating that overwhelm. And that book, the Fair Play book, creates visibility to all of that. The CPE, the conceptualization, the planning, and the execution of everything that goes on in the household. So then it becomes a tool for you and your partner to start to see like, oh, I need to divvy this stuff up, or I'm going to implode. And this is part of why I feel the way I'm doing is because I'm taking all of this on over here, and I'm doing all of this over here with my business, right? And we just stack. Of course, it's going to be a pressure cooker. And then, like you said, patriarchal stress disorder, we're going to pass that down from generation to generation. So we have like our tools that we love, everybody, like those 2 books, go get them.
Right. And that's where we ask for support, right? Whether working with one of us or even the kind of conversations, that book is a great tool to have with your partner or your husband. I mean, that's something comes up almost all the time with my clients. Like, can you share some language? How do I communicate this to my partner?
Right. So, it's actually a game. So Fair Play is actually a game. And you have cards.
Yeah, she has some cards. Are they already out? Because I saw it was for pre-order, deck of cards.
You have to pre-order the cards, but you can go to the website and print out the cards and then cut them if you want, or just like, put, like my partner and I put initials next to who was doing what. And then it's like, do you see? And it's not a, do you see a tit for tat? It's a, here is what is required to make our homework, and how do we work together? How do we create equality within each other to make this work, not a, oh, well, you did this, so I'm going to do this. That's not what it's about. It's about coming together and learning the tools. And then, like you said, the communication and making sure that everybody is on the same page. But we got to start with, I do think as well, is like we have to start with like recognizing or reaching out and getting support to say it's okay to ask for that help. It's okay that you're not doing it all. Nor should you. And that's what I think the patriarchy stress disorder is like really shining light to that, is like, we don't have to operate like this anymore. It doesn't work. This is cool. This is where I love this. I love talking to you. I could talk to you about this all day long.
Yes.
So anything else? We don't want to, I know, right? We're talking about busy professional women, or even women that are just like home and they're working in the home, trying to do it all. So we don't want to take up too much of their time, but anything else that you can say, like, what's the number one thing? I know you love your morning and evening rituals. Like, so everybody, I think, can implement that right now. But is there anything else that you're like, you got to go and do this, besides, of course, call you and schedule a discovery call to work together? But like what do you tell your clients? Like, just go do this one little life hack and just see what happens.
I think there's so much information out there. So for me, it's a lot about like customization, like what's really going on in that individual. But if there's one hack that I would say that has been a common thread for a lot of us, and my clients included, is a practice where I know we were talking about, putting attention on ourselves first when we begin our day. But then I also think like sometimes we have, especially when the author of this book had that statistics that 90% of women are in their head. I think a great hack to, like, an antidote to that is a gratitude practice, a very intentional, deliberate. It's something that takes attention away from us. Having gratitude for something around us, another person, situation, environment, and that can be very impactful. And it's free. You don't need anyone. You don't need to. Yes, you can invest in a gratitude journal, but it's just one of those life hacks, which is also now so much well researched that it can actually upregulate your immune cells.
Oh, you know what? I remember reading about that, and it was as little as 3 gratitudes per day that can do it. Yeah. Would you be willing to come back on here, I don't know, next week or in a couple weeks, and just kind of like walk through, or even do your own Facebook Live and walk through, like, hey, we're going to follow up with this. I'm going to show you just like what you do. I mean, it could be like 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Like, this is what it looks like. Because some people might be like, what? I don't know what that means. And especially the type A's, the perfectionists are going to, right? They're going to look to you and they're going to say,
what is the method?
Yeah, right. How do I do it? What are the rules? What's it supposed to look like? Yeah.
Right. And what is what is the feedback? Like, how will I know, right?
How will I know if I did it right?
Yeah.
I would love that. Okay. So how do people work with you? Because with you, let's tell everybody, Radhika works with a very specific type of clientele. She doesn't take on hundreds and hundreds of clients because she gives so much to her clients, right? We are all about not just our one-on-one individual time together through our coaching sessions, but the time that is in between the coaching sessions, and the tools and the techniques, and really establishing a deep long-term relationship. I mean, your clients work with you for years sometimes. And if somebody's interested in working with you, how do they get in touch with you?
So via the Nutrition Works of Colorado website, you can set up a discovery call. And then if we decide we are a good fit to work together, and then we set up the first 90-minute session, which is like a detailed intake session where we look at your health, your life history, what's going on, what are your goals, and also, alliance building. How do you like working? How do you like receiving information?
Yeah.
And then we work over a period of 3 or 4 months, 12 sessions, but the bulk of work, like Rachel mentioned, happens in between the sessions, because you have all this you can have like overwhelm of information, and that's not really the objective. So we do little work which has compound profound outcomes, and we work between the sessions where you can send me a message via the Get Healthy. We have a chat portal there on the portal, a chat messaging option. And so really, that's really the bulk of the work, wherein I will hold you accountable and support you if there's anything that comes up. And then we have, between those sessions, we have a lot of transformation that happens with the clients. And of course, it's a lot of co-creation. It's not just me giving you information and tools and strategies and supplements and meal guides and all of that, but it's work that, you know, the client does along with me. And so we co-create.
Yeah, I think
the
that's
ideal outcome for you. And
right.
So at the end of it, you wake up feeling really energized. You're confident in your body. You know what to eat for your body type, your physiology. You're sleeping well. You're just living your life to your highest potential. And it is magic at the end of it. When you speak to some of my clients, they'll be like, wow, I didn't realize that it's going to touch so many aspects of my life.
Yeah. I love that. It is. It is magic. Like when you try to explain what coaching is, it feels, I think sometimes for people, very abstract. But if you're just willing to try something different and you're willing to go there, that it is so magical because you're authentic. And again, that word is like, what does that mean? But it's like, you are in a life that is meant for you, that you have designed with your best interest at heart. And I think that's like the coolest thing. That's so empowering. And
Yeah.
What a way, like going back to the beginning, right? Rounding it out, what a way to genetically change future generations.
Right, like the epigenetics, because it does
Yeah.
affect, you know, with future generations, as you said. And then, you know, it's an investment, and you work with a coach and mentor, and I work with a coach and a mentor. And I know that at the beginning, before I invested, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to invest so much money. And then I noticed that's a prison. Now I know there's a word for it. That's a prison guard that, you know, like, how can you be spending so much money on yourself?
Right.
You know? So I know. That's an important piece as well. But when we do invest in ourselves, and then we see, like, I mean, it's not just the momentum, it's life changing.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say, whenever it comes to investing on myself, I always say I will bet on myself every single day, no matter how much it costs, because
Right.
I know that at the end of the day, I am responsible for my life on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what I'm capable of. So
Right.
I will bet on myself all day long. And sometimes it's a $15 book, and sometimes it's a $30,000 mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And in even more. So I love that you said that, because that is important to invest in yourself. I think at least we have the same philosophy. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to keep coming back here. So check back often. Radhika and I are going to have these very candid conversations. Obviously, I'm going to put a link to how you could schedule an investment call with her. It's complimentary. There's no obligation and there's no sales. We don't sell you on this process. We are here to serve you. So it is a conversation to determine if the two of you are a good fit for each other. What else do we have coming up? Well, that's it. We'll let everybody go. I loved talking to you, and I can't wait to do it again. And oh my God, I'm so happy you're with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'm glad you're in my life.
Thank you, Radhika. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope we served you in some fashion today, and we hope that you reach out as well. Take care, Radhika. Take care, everyone.
Rachel, thank you.